start with Scratch coding. As you can see, I have opened Scratch interface, and the game what we are going to develop today is the duck shooting game. It's going to be fun because we are having a lot of features here. So first, let me give a brief introduction of what Scratch is. Scratch is a block development software which helps us to code using the block way of coding. You can see different color codes are there. Each block represents a different set of instructions or programs. You can see motion block, looks, sound, event, control, sensing, operators, variable, and my block. So this is the area where we do the scripting. This is called the script area. This is the stage. This is called the sprite area where we add the sprites, and this small thin rectangular area what you are seeing on the right hand corner is the backdrop. And here are some tabs, the code, backdrops, and sound. So these tabs we are going to navigate so as to add certain things to it. So first of all, without wasting time, let's start. So first of all, we are going to go for the backdrop. So you can see this is a backdrop, and here we are going to create a user defined backdrop. Okay, so let's take the paint option, and here I'm going to color it with some colors. The rectangular tool I'm using, the paint tool, and I'm going to color it suppose green. Okay, so this is my introductions page. Here I'm going to write something. Okay, so we are going to write a duck shooting game. Now you can see here the color is not visible because it's matched with the background. So what we are going to do is we are going to select it and we are going to change the color. Let's see some colors like this. Okay, as you can see there's a typing error here, so we can change it and we can write again duck shooting game. Okay, now it's perfect. You can see it's light green upon dark green and it's clearly visible here, so we're going to move it here. Okay, so this is going to be our introductions page when we are starting the game, and then we are going to add some of the sprites, some basic sprites like a button. So we are going to add 4 sprites actually here. The first one would be the button sprite. So under the sprite area we are going to search for the button, because the button will start the event and we'll start the game. So we are searching for button. So you can see there are a lot of buttons icons given, so we are going to choose the second one because that looks more adorable. We are going to keep it in the middle. Okay, so this is the button. Now you can see here what actually the game interface would be. So we have to add an icon here so that people also knows, okay, so the gamer will be coming to know that okay, this is the game of duck shooting. So we will be keeping one duck here, a funny duck. So how to add that? We'll go to the sprite, upload sprite, and you can see on my desktop I have created a I have a PNG file, a transparent duck file. Okay, so I'm going to add this duck. Let's see this in the large icon list so that I can see which icon I'm going to choose. Okay, this one. So you can see it's getting imported here. So we are going to add it as a sprite, not as a background. It's a very important point to remember. We are going to add it as a sprite and not as a background, because we will do little bit of coding on it. So whenever we are going to code, we will code on the sprite, not on the background. Okay, so the main functional area will be the sprites. So here we are going to reduce the size to suppose 60. Okay, so you can see this has become my introductions page now. Okay, now we will start the coding for the button. Now how to code for the button? Now what will the button do here? The button is going to generate the game starting screen. So when we click on the button, what will happen? The first interface is going to hide and we are going to switch over to the next interface. Okay, so what we are going to do? So we'll start with the event block. When the green flag is clicked, we are going to go to the looks block, switch backdrop to backdrop 2. Okay, so here you can see we have created the backdrops. This is the backdrop 2. Okay, when the game starts, it should show my this backdrop. Okay, now when green flag is clicked, we are going to switch backdrop to backdrop 2, and we are going to show it, right? So again, under looks block, we'll go to the show block and we are going to drag it and place it down here. Now we are going to go to the when this sprite is clicked block. That means this button, when we are going to press this button, what is going to happen? We are going to hide it from the viewers. We are going to hide it. Then we are going to switch backdrop to, now here we are going to add another backdrop. So how to go for it? So under backdrops, we'll go to the backdrop sections and you'll see here under duplicate sections, under the backdrop, choose a backdrop. We are going here and we are going to add a blue sky backdrop. Now this will start our game. This backdrop is our game backdrop. So now again we'll go back to our code, the button code. Okay, and here we are going to choose the blue sky backdrop, because once we click on this button, all the backdrops will be hidden and we are going to go to the blue sky backdrop. Now here after this we are using a broadcast message. Now what is the use of broadcast here? Broadcast is a block which was used for communicating within the blocks. Okay, it is not going to display on the screen. It is not for the user but for the communications between the program. So here it is going to give an instructions to the game that we have to start the program. Okay, start the game. So when we are declaring the broadcast, we have to use along with it another block which is called when I receive the message. Now where we are going to receive this message? We are going to receive this message in the blue sky. So let's check. Okay, so now we are going for the duck. Now here you are saying the duck message. What here we have broadcast as a message called start, and this broadcast message we are going to receive it here. So when I receive the start, what is going to happen here? we are going to hide what? This particular sprite, the chicken sprite. So, or the duck, whatever you say. So we are going to hide it here. We are hiding it. Okay. So you can see here it's a pure communicating message. We are broadcasting here the start message and we are going to hide it here. Okay, when I received start, I'm going to hide it. And when I'm going to start the game, when the green flag is clicked, what will happen? It will show. So you can see these two blocks are coordinating with each other. If you're using a slow in one block, you have to use a hide block also. Otherwise, the sprite will be hidden permanently or it will be showing throughout the game. Okay, so this is the block code for our duck. Now you can see here, I'm just clicking on it. So this is our starting game. When I click on the button, see, everything is hidden and only we are seeing the blue sky. Okay, so our first part of the game is done. So again, I'm clicking on the green flag. You can see a duck shooting game. The interface is here. When I click on the button, everything is hidden and the background is showing. So this is our game background. Now the next part is another sprite we are going to add. Now here it comes with the main part. Now the main part is the actual game duck. Now what we are going to do here? We are going to add a duck, a real sprite duck, which is actually the character of the game. So we are going to type here buddy or duck. So though it is a duck game, but we are going to add this parrot just to enhance the beauty of the game. So you can see I've added a parrot here and I'll reduce the size of the parrot to suppose 60. Okay, so you can reduce from the sprite size under the sprite area. Now you can see here the parrot is here and we are going to fly this parrot in both the directions. Either it will go in the x-axis or it will go in the minus x-axis, plus x, minus x. It is going to fly up and we are going to shoot it with a mouse pointer. That's the logic of the game. So how to start with this? So we'll start with when we start with the green flag. When the game starts, what is happening? So I'll just make it a little bit bigger so it's visible for all. When we start with the green flag, we are setting the score. Now this part we can do it later on also, or you can start doing it now only, because we are the ultimate enjoyment of the game will be the score. Okay, so we are going to set the score variable. Now variables are blocks which are used for temporarily storing any numeric value. So here we are going to store the value called score. Okay, and we are set the score variable first to 0. So whenever we start the game, the score should always be the counter should reset itself to 0. Okay, and then we are going to hide it. Okay, so this is our first part of the block. Now we are going to create a clone of this bird, so that each time the game starts, it appears that a new bird is flying. Okay, every time a bird is coming out of the bush and we are going to shoot it. Okay, now here we are going to use this block on the event when backdrop switches to blue sky. Now this block is very important because we will start the game from here. Okay, so when we are going to switch the background to blue sky, then we will show the body. Okay, the body will be showing when we switches the backdrop to blue sky. Now here what we are going to do, we are going to hide it beyond the bush. Okay, so behind the bush it should hide, so that it appears that it is coming out from the bush. So we will make it go back. So you can see if I click on it. Okay, now there is one more thing to we can do here. You can see here the bird is actually, it is hidden but it is showing. So this game is having actually two layers. Okay, because the backdrop what we have added here already, it is two backdrops we have added. So the, though it is flying, it is hidden at the backdrop, but it is in between these two blocks, in between these two backgrounds. So how to hide it altogether? What we can do here is we can create a separate sprite by selecting this one, this push. Okay, we are going to select this push, and we are just selecting this part, and we are copying it, and we'll create a new sprite. Okay, so what we can do here, we will go to the paint option, choose a sprite option, and here we are going to paste it. So you can see we have created a duplicate. So this is a way how we can hide the bird in the bush. Okay, you can see here if I drag it up, you can see the bird is actually lying in between the two layers, and this layer now has become layer 1 and we are at the back of layer 2. Okay, so this is a quite um, better way of hiding the bird in the bush. Okay, so we'll make it go to back layer, and it is hidden here. So first what we can do here, when the game starts we will hide it. When the game starts we will hide this. Okay, we don't want it to be shown in the beginning of the game. Okay, now uh, now when this parrot is coming here, we are going to uh, it is hidden at the beginning. You can see here it's hidden. Okay, now it should come when the game starts. So when it switches to, okay, now here we will make it okay, so here we are going to hide it. Okay, and here we are going to use a broadcast message. Okay, show bush. Okay, we are going to use a broadcast message called show bush. Okay, so here what we are going to do, when I receive the show bush message, it will show. Okay, so this is a trick we are going to use to hide and show the bush. So you can see here it is, you can see the bird is hidden at the back. Okay, so this is a trick you can use to hide the bird in the bush. Next what we can do here is we are going to use a forever block. Now here we are going to make the bird fly and clone itself, so that it looks like each time a new bird is coming out of the bush. Okay, so we are going to use here forever block, and then we are going to go to the create clone of myself block. And whenever you are using this block clone, you have to keep in mind you have to use the delete block and another when I start as a clone. So these three blocks are in fact interrelated. You should not miss these two blocks along with this block. So whenever you are creating a clone of myself, you should be remembering that to delete this clone, otherwise your RAM will be full and your game can hang. Okay, so we will use a wait block. Wait. So we need to make a timer, a period timer, so that the bird will appear after this period of time. So we are going to pick a random number between 1 to 3 seconds. Within this time, 1 to 3 seconds, it will create a clone of myself, and it will appear, or it will create a clone of this bird and it will appear on the screen. So you can see here when I'm pressing it. Okay, so it is creating a clone. It is creating a clone of itself. Okay, it is in the background, but it's not moving. Why? Because we haven't given any block for movement. Okay, so now we will start with the, when we start with the clone, what will happen? When I start as a clone, we are going to create two variables called x speed and y speed. Now this is important to change the speed of the game. It will increase or decrease the speed of the bird's velocity. X speed, one block. Another we were going to create a y speed, another block. Okay, so two blocks we have created called x speed and y speed. So first what we are going to do, we are going to set x speed to some random variable, so that any number which lies between this number, so we are going to set between 5 and 10. So we know that this bird will point in these directions, and it is going to be going up rather than going down. So this is going to decide my bird whether it's going up or down depending on the x and y value. So similarly we are going to set for the y speed also. So y speed is this. So these two variables will decide whether my bird is going up and down and with what velocity. Okay, now we are going to use if else block, if then else block. This block we are going to, now we'll check for conditions wherein we'll pick a number, random number. Okay, uh, between 1 and 2. So this is going to check whether my block is, whether my bird is changing the positive 90 or negative 90. Okay, so if I'm going to check, pick random number 1 and 2, if any number lies between 1 and 2 is 1, okay, then we are going to use certain block and we are going to delete this clone. This is very important, to delete the clone. Okay, now here we are going to check for a conditions which is going to be repeated throughout the program. Now how to duplicate that conditions using, or make short of our program using my block. Now this my block, or the pink block what you are seeing, it is actually used for reiterative statements to make it into small block. It is a very handy and useful block, students. You can use it anytime you want. This block is actually going to uh, make same sets of repeated statement into one code. So we are going to make this block name as bird fly. Okay, and we are going to give it three inputs. So on the first block we are giving x speed, next is y speed, and the third one is directions. So you can see here I have used three different variables. Okay, now don't check on this, run without screen refresh, should not be checked. We will write without checking it. So okay, so you can see here we have already added this block the define block. This block will be very useful in the future. You can use it whenever you are having same set of repeated statement. You can cut short using this define block. So first what we'll do, we will point in directions. Okay, point in direction. Okay, and we are going to drag this direction and this. So it is going to point in the directions which we want according to the flow of the statement. So that is going to store in this variable called directions. Okay, now we are going to use a repeat until block. So on the control we'll use a repeat until block. Repeat until touching edge. So till where it will repeat, till the bird is touching the edge, it will keep on repeating. Okay, so we will use it, keep on repeating till touching edge. Okay, so this block will use, okay, repeat until touching edge. Then what will happen, it is going to change the x and y directions by 10. Change x by 10, and we are going to use change y by 10. Okay, now this is going to set our bird's directions to x and y axis. That means we know that the bird is going to follow the up point. Okay, it is going to be x positive towards x, towards right and top 10 points. Okay, now we are going to change the speed here. So we are going to drag from the defined block x speed and in the y speed. Now these two blocks are going to change the directions where what we are going to use it here. Whatever directions the program is setting, that variable will be used here, and it is going to give the control of the x and y axis. Now next is if touching mouse pointer. We are going to use again an if block. We are going to use this block if it is okay. We are going to check for two things, and whether if it's touching the mouse pointer. So now we are going to use the shooting point. Okay, so we are going to use the mouse pointer to shoot the bird. So if it is touching the mouse pointer and if the mouse is down, if these two conditions are satisfied together, then what will happen, then we are going to change the score. Okay, change the score variable by 1. Okay, so this is pretty easy, this part, because it is simply going to check if the bird is clicked or the mouse is down, then score will be changed by 1, and we have to set the score to 0 in the beginning of the game. Okay, now let me make it a little bit smaller. Yes. Okay, now again we are going to use a if block. If, again a second if will use if. Now we are going to check the score. If score is equals to 10, now this will be the constraint on the game. Now if score is equals to our 10, because it will be a highly competitive game as the speed is continuously changing and it's going to increase with the progress of the game. So we will keep a lower score as our limit. So if score is equals to 10, then we are going to switch backdrop to switch backdrop. Now here what we are going to do, we are going to go to the backdrop, and we are going to add another backdrop which is our winning backdrop, right? Or when the game ends, what will be the final backdrop? So we are going to go here on the desktop and we are going to select the duck winner game. Okay, so you can see this has appeared. Now we are going to convert it into vector because we require some high resolutions one, and we are going to write here winner winner chicken dinner. Okay, some funny touch up line. Now these are all modifications what you can make with the progress of the game so that it will look more attractive. Okay, so now we are going to go to the parrot coding again. Now here what we are going to do. Now one thing, if you have noticed in this block, we have missed the next costume block, right? Because next costume is very important block which will change the costume so that to make the realistic animations of the code. So we'll keep it here, next costume. Okay. Now here we are checking if score is equals to 10, we are going to duck winner game. Okay. And we are using a broadcast message which will pass the message directly to the duck winner background. So here we are using a broadcast message under the event block. Okay, so okay, one broadcast message. Now where we will use this broadcast message, we are going to communicate with the backdrop 3. So I'll use a message called game over. Okay, now this is the game over message. Now we are not going to code it right now, but we have forgotten to add a delete block here, because if you're not going to delete the clone, okay, we are not going to see a new bird appearing from the bush each time we click on the bird. The score should be incremented and we are going to see a new bird appearing. Okay, so for that we have to clear the old bird. For that we are using this delete this clone. Okay, now we are going to use this define block what we have defined here, and where we are going to declare this, we are going to declare it here for the x and y axis. Okay, so we are going to use the x speed, y speed, and 3 variables we have declared. So we are going to use x speed, y speed variable, whatever data is stored it will transfer it here, and then it's going to change it here. So x speed, y speed is nothing but it's a random value between 5 to 10, and this time we are going to point in direction 90. And if x speed and y speed, now here we are going to make the bird fly in the opposite direction. For that we need a negative value, so we are going to use this x should be negative, so we are going to use this x speed as negative value, and we are going to keep y as it is, y speed, and here direction should be minus 90 because we are going to directions opposite. Okay, now you will see the bird, though it is moving in the left hand side, but it is upside down. For that you have to use looks block rotation style left to right. We have to use that block, otherwise it will move in upside down way. Okay, now let's check. So you can see here the bird is flying. Yes, it's flying. Yes, it is flying in both directions. Yes, nice. So let's click on it. Okay, score is incrementing. Yes. You have to be very fast with your mouse pointer. So it will increment till the score reaches to 10. You can see the speed is increasing x and y. So if X is increasing, you can see it is changing the directions also. So this will tell me whether the, okay. Now it is still flying though the end has reached. Why? Because we haven't given any constraint for the ending block. So when we are using the game over block, and this broadcast message will be used in this particular code. Okay, so how to use that? So game over block, you can see we are going to use the game over block here. So when I receive, so this is the our finishing backdrop. So when I receive game over, we are going to switch backdrop to game over block and wait. Okay, now we are going to wait for certain time till we end the game and we stop the entire code. So we are going to wait for 3 seconds and we are going to stop all. Similarly, when the game starts, when we start with the green flag, what should be happening? We should not see this backdrop. It should change to the first backdrop. Remember the first backdrop? Which one? The first backdrop, this backdrop. So it should be to my backdrop 2. Switch backdrop to backdrop 2. Okay. Now a little bit changes we can make. We can give it sound. So you can see here if we are going to add 2 sounds here. So I'll go to the sound tab and I'll delete the pop sound, and 2 sounds I'm going to take. One would be the sound of duck. Once I hit the duck, some sound should come. So we'll search for this duck and we are going to add this duck sound. You can listen to this sound. Okay. So once we make a kill, the sound will come. So we'll go to the coding of the parrot, and where the score is incrementing, we will add the sound there. Okay, so here the score is incrementing, so you can add it after the score increment or before it. It would be better if you add it before. So we will use the start sound of the bird. Okay, but here it is this, but no, we are going to take the sound of the, okay, we are going here adding the sound. We need the duck sound, not the bird. Okay, so we'll search for the duck. So whichever sprite you are working on, you have to use the sound tab for that particular particular sprite. Otherwise the sound block won't be having the same sound, it will have something else. So here we are going to go for duck. Okay, so this is one. Now when we are switching for the backdrop, here we can add another sound, that is the sound of the game over. Okay, so you can go to the backdrop and here you can add go to the sound tab and we are going to add another sound called video game over, so that it will add a nice touch to your game. Video game, yeah, pretty much that. Okay, so we are going to add this game over sound here, a nice transitions. Okay, now let us check. So my button, the bird is flying, clicking, you can see the sound is coming as you hit. so that you know that you have make a kill shot. Okay, perfect. Yes, you have to be very sharp while hitting. See, the score is incrementing. If you touch the right spot, your score will increment. So twice I have clicked, it is incremented by 5. See, gradually the speed is increasing. 6, 8. Okay, so little bit of changes we have to do. We have to use the stop all. Wait for 3 seconds and we are stopping the game here. When switch backdrop. Okay, so we are going to use the stop all code not here but here. Okay, after broadcasting we will stop it here. Okay, a small change I have made to check whether the game is stopping perfectly or not. Okay, score is 2. We'll make it full screen and see. Still the score is 2. Yes, now it has incremented. Okay, 4, 5. Okay, it is still in 5. I haven't hit the blind spot. 6, 7. So you can see the X and Y is continuously increasing. If X is increasing, you know that it is going to be going towards the X. See, the frequency of the bird appearing is also increasing. Yes. So no more birds appearing and you can see the final winner game. That's it, student. That's it for now. So I'll be back with another video. You can comment me what type of video you want. I will try to make it up. Do subscribe and like and give a thumbs up so that I get encouragement from you to make more videos as such. Thank you all. Bye bye.